I was looking at JK nodding as he was speaking, and I thought he seems to be agreeing with everything that you were putting across. And I want to challenge him, if he has something to disagree on, to bring it on, JK. That will be your first assignment. And after you disagree with Leslie, some of the people on our panel are actually philanthropists, donors. They give. So one of our donors and partners had actually told us, please, when you have that panel, I just want to know, what is the interaction between business and philanthropy? Is philanthropy sustainable in business? And if it is sustainable, how do you package it? So please disagree and then share with the philanthropists on, how those two can come together.
Yeah, I think I'm really going to struggle to disagree with Leslie on much that he said, because there was a reason I was nodding, like when he talked about being open to new skills and not overthinking your career. Sometimes you've just got to say yes to the opportunity and try and gather skills rather than try and manufacture situations which will get you a promotion here, a promotion there. It's about getting an understanding. And when he talked about finance, and it just, what struck me is how I think of finance as well in the same way. Everything revolves. I mean, this is going to sound egotistical as a finance guy, but everything revolves around finance. It's at the heart of everything you do. And sometimes people don't realize that, but there's always a cash or a profit impact of every decision a business makes. So trying to understand that, and instead of fighting against people, try and influence them by showing them and helping understand, and you yourself understand the way your business works. So there was certainly a lot to agree on, and attitude and just showing up every day is super important. So yeah, I'm afraid you've asked me one question and I've fallen at the first hurdle, but yeah, really agreed with everything that was said there. On the link between, I guess, philanthropy and business, I think it really can happen. If I look at the business that I'm in now, IMS, although it's not a charity, what is it? We use telematics to help make driving safer. So we monitor people's driving to make sure that they're I guess there are carrots and there are sticks that the insurers can use to make sure people are driving in a safe and responsible manner. And although it's a business, what this came from was one of the founders lost his son in a car accident. So effectively what this business is about is it has a cause, it has a purpose, and it started with a certain demographic, which was young drivers, and trying to encourage them to think about their actions. Because I think we all know when you're young, you kind of feel like you're invincible and you can rule the world, but actually trying to positively impact some of those behaviors to try and help young drivers think about what they're doing, and whether it's visualizing it on an app or getting nudges from their insurer. This is a specific example, but the point I'm trying to make is there is a definite link between philanthropy, as you want to call it, or charitable causes or good causes in business, because inherently people want to be part of something that they believe in and that they think can help themselves and others prosper. So I think it's important to bear that in mind. And although we all want to go and work for companies that are very profitable and can generate positivity in terms of wealth and wealth distribution, it's also important to bear in mind that companies need a purpose, and tying that purpose to good causes can only be a positive thing and help businesses thrive.
Well, that is quite well. And I was just looking at, some of the people who are present here, we so encapsulated just sharing their donation, which will definitely go a long way, and it's just one of the many. And indeed, it's nice to hear people on the other side of the divide saying that indeed those two come together very well. I remember seeing something that Microsoft has written, that the more you allow your staff to do good, to volunteer, to serve in purposes that they enjoy, the more they even work better. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, looking at that, allowing the business to run while doing good, putting together philanthropy, I'd like to throw that to Maurice so that he can say, maybe practically, someone like Maurice in Nokia, who is head of accounting, he's handling possibly the monies. He needs to decide whether some of it comes to Twendele. What are the metrics that he would have to deal with, and how do we present ourselves in a way that, JK and Maurice and Rispa can look at us nicely. Maurice, over to you.
Thank you, Agaha. I'm privileged and I'm happy to be here. When I got the invite to be part of this panel, I quickly went and checked what Twendele Foundation is all about. I looked at your partners, and I was quite happy to see even Strathmore, which was there, the student who gave their testimony earlier on from Strathmore. That's where I learned. So many years ago, that was my path, and I'm happy with the work that Twendele Foundation is doing, and I'm proud to be here today and to engage and participate here. My questions you've thrown for me are really hard questions, but in terms of CSR and philanthropy, we are in business, and we're in business to make money. Ultimately, a company which is engaged in a lot of CSR activity will build many things. For one, loyalty. Customer loyalty. We have these same companies with improved employee satisfaction. Investors will be looking at, potential investors will always look at the level of CSR that a company is doing, because we all have options. So if I have an option to invest in one company versus with a lot of CSR activities and another one which doesn't, of course I will be leaning towards the company with which gives back to the society. So these are things which might not maybe necessarily be seen today, or the impact might not be seen today, or maybe directly next year or next quarter or next month. But these are things that stick into the mind. It's almost like marketing. The impact of marketing doesn't come immediately, but we see and comes back. I for one, would want to be involved, to be employed. I would want to partner with companies with CSR or philanthropic activities. So yes, there is a definite link with between business and philanthropy.
Gaha, if I may add to that, I think one of the things that for me has been very impactful is when we fully integrate whatever we call this philanthropy into our strategy. And for us, we have moved away from traditional CSR to a whole sustainability approach which thinks about our business and the community in which we work. So we've defined a sustainability strategy that is holistic from across the value chain. So it has 4 pillars, and I'll just give a couple of examples, but it has 4 pillars, and the first pillar being inclusion and diversity. Now, we don't just say as long as you have women on the board, that's enough. It's all the way through to how do we portray women in our marketing advertisements. Historically, the way women were portrayed in any alcoholic drinks adverts was a certain way. And we are saying for real inclusion and diversity, you need to reflect some respect around the portrayal of women. So we infuse that into marketing. When it comes to supply, we think about who are the farmers who are supplying us, and we have a lot of sorghum farmers. Historically, again, women in our area don't have access to land, don't have access to capital. And we've been very deliberate around women, young people, and people living with disability to make sure that of the 60,000 farmers we work with, we're deliberately focusing and investing on those cohorts that have been previously disadvantaged. So we embed CSR deep into the strategy like that. When it comes to education, we're in manufacturing, again, male dominated historically, so the need to bring women into the manufacturing workforce, unlike other industries I've been in where there's more balance. And so we support women in STEM. And so we're when you make it part of your purpose and core to your strategy, then it's not another check you have to write because somebody has a begging bowl. It's very much aligned to your strategy, which means that maybe not every organization is the right one for you, but the ones that speak to your strategy and align to your purpose are the ones then that will be able to support you in a big way. So looking for that alignment and saying, how do we work together in your pillar of diversity and inclusion? And diversity and inclusion is just one. We have responsible drinking, and again, that has a number of pillars around. Where in alcoholic drinks, we want our products used properly. Where is the education around underage drinking, around drunk driving, around young people understanding what is alcohol even before I engage with it, so that even the students that we have, they don't get into dangerous or bad habits around alcohol. So making sure we invest behind that in saying, can you understand, what you're interacting with before you make a choice to consume it, and how do you consume it in the right way and safely. The other pillar which is big for us is also grain to glass sustainability. We use a lot of water, we use carbon. I won't say too much about those, but again, we infuse in that. So we use water, so we say water replenishment. So we're in communities digging boreholes, planting trees, because we know we're using water. How do we make sure that we don't run out of water in water-stressed areas? So when you stitch sustainability and CR at the core of your strategy and you measure it just like you measure financial reporting, you'll find that you don't worry about how am I going to fund it, because it is important. So I think finding the nexus in the strategy of your partners and saying, how can we partner because we think this really aligns to your strategy?
Wow. That is pretty well put. Thank you very much. It's very interesting how you have put it together. We started with AI, we've gone to philanthropy, we've gone to our daily routines. We've gone and seen how Morris' journey brings it all together, and we've closed with diversity and inclusion.